Well, it's a gloomy day here in Florida. It looks like it's going to rain today. But what I want to try to get done is finish up the doors for sure, like get them in primer, and then start tackling the hood area. I got some gas, so we should be good to go. So let me get the doors over on this side of the shop, and then we'll go from there. So the worst thing about Florida and it's wet is that there's mosquitoes, especially since I live in front of a marshland, basically, cypress swamp, so to speak. So I always have to turn on the fan. So let's get back after this trials and tribulations of living in Florida and not having a big front door. All right, let's get back into this.
Now we do that to the other door. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm not going to record it. It's the same as this side. So we'll be right back. All right, got both of the doors prepped up. 180 was the final sand. Well, it wasn't the final sand, but 180 on both the doors. And then the hardest part on these doors, honestly, was the stripes. Trying to get the stripes flat, sanded down. So as you saw on this door, I actually took the block with 180 and I ran it across there just to make sure it was flat. I did the same on this side, on the passenger side door. And then what I did was, well, I just kind of, both doors were sanded with 180 on a hard pad. And then I went back with 320 on a soft pad. So here's a soft pad. So it's basically like an interface pad, see? So when you roll over edges and stuff, it won't hit it won't like burn through quick. I mean, don't get me wrong, these will definitely burn through if you, get on there. But yeah, 180, over the 180, will probably bring the scratches up to about like 220, whatever that is. So now what I'm gonna do is, I sanded the edge over, but I'm going to back tape the doors when I prime them. So I'm going to do the epoxy primer, and then I'm going to do the regular 2K primer. But I'm not priming these bottom pieces, the underneath of the door, because the only issue that I had was on this door right here in the corner where it was missing, it was rusted out. I fixed that a couple weekends ago. But what I'm going to do on the bottom sides is I'm going to sand it with 180, and then come back with 320 red Scotch-Brite, and then I'm going to use the epoxy primer as a sealer, and I'm going to seal it twice, and then I'm going to paint them. So that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm not going to epoxy prime them, then regularly prime them, and then sand it. It's kind of like a waste. Door jamb, doesn't see a lot of action, so to speak. That's just what I'm going to do with this. And I'm also going to do the same thing on the back side of the hood. I'm going to clean it up real good, then I'm going to sand it with 180, then come back with 320, 2 coats of epoxy primer, do a wet on wet with base clear on top of it. Done. Yep, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to tape these up. I was just giving you a rundown of what I'm going to do here. I'm going to tape these things up and then get the primer shaken up, and then when you come back, I'll be priming them. So again, epoxy primer, 4 to 1 to 1. So 4 parts LP20, that's the primer, epoxy primer, then 1 part of the LA20, which is the hardener, and then 1 part of LR reducer. I'm using LR13, which is a higher temp reducer. So yeah, so just stir that up, just like that, and I'm all set up here, so here we go. So what I'm going to do here, don't forget respirator, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 2 coats, or however much I run out of in the cup. It's going to be about 5 minutes in between coats. Then I'm going to let the epoxy sit for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just like I did on the body. And then I'm going to come back over it with 2K high build primer, which is the RMP 26. So let me get going. So out of 1 cup, I ended up getting 3 coats. So now I'm gonna let that set up for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm gonna come back with my 2K and do 3 coats on that. So we'll be back. All right guys, it's been about 50 minutes. So by the time I get RMP 26 mixed up, we'll be ready to shoot our wet on wet. So our top coats, 3 coats. So let's shake it up. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, so there we are. Wet on wet epoxy with 2K over that. So now that'll probably dry up for about a week at least. So on to the next thing. Alright guys, so with that being a primer, fresh primer, probably what I'm going to do is nothing that involves grinding or sanding. Just so it can get the skin coat over there. So probably I'm not going to do anything else for today because everything requires grinding, cutting. Yeah, so anyway, so that's going to be it for today. I'm probably going to bebop around on my purlings for the shop, loft, booth thing, because I already have everything cut, and I just got to put them up there and screw them in. So I'm probably going to work on that. We will catch you in the AM to probably work on the hood. Yes, I'll probably work on the hood and maybe get that in primer tomorrow. I'm hoping. That way all the parts will be in primer. Well, besides the trunk, but the trunk is a brand new part. It's already been sealed and painted at one point, so that just needs to be scuffed up and painted. So that's no big deal over there. So anyway, we will catch you in the AM. Good morning, guys. Well, it's noon on Sunday, so afternoonish, whatever, or noonish. Happy St. Patrick's Day, if anyone celebrates that kind of deal. So yesterday I came back out and I cleaned up the vents area. I'll show you that. I'll put in a clip right here. And then what I did was I went through and I drilled out there was like 4 or 5 little rust holes. So I drilled them out, and then all I did was just, actually let me go get it, hold on. All right, so what I did was I drilled out the rust holes until it was good metal. Each one of them was probably about a 1/4 inch or so. So I just took this little guy. So this is a copper, it's a copper pad, right? You can see right there's where I welded against it. So it's a copper pad, and and it's got a magnet on one side, and you stick it on, and you bring this up against the hole, and then you just tack weld the holes up. So that's what I did. Instead of cutting out a big section, I just drilled out until, I mean, if it was going to be really big, then I would replace it. But since it was just about a 1/4 inch was the biggest hole that was in there, I just drilled it out and used this little guy and welded to it. And welds don't stick to copper. Well, it kind of does. Okay, if you get it hot enough, it'll stick to it. But all you got to do is just go like that, and it just pops right off. So it doesn't actually weld to it. So that's what I did on the front. And then I started smoothing out all where the hood pins were, and all that is fiberall right there. And yeah, so today, hopefully, oh, and I had to run to Harbor Freight to go get some more liners for my primer gun. Oh, and also what came in is the Kustomz Hot Rod Black. So this is a 1-quart kit. It was like $100 and some. But it comes with a quart of the Hot Rod Black, and this is a satin black. It comes with your catalyst and your reducer. So this is mixed 4 to 1 to 1. And, again, here's the number. And I just picked it up off from Amazon. This is what's going to do the cowl and the dash, the metal part of the dash, right? But before we get into doing that, the dash itself has a lot of cracks in it and stuff. He did purchase one of those pads that goes over it. It's been on back order for the last 2 months. Wow. Yeah, about 2 months. But either way, we have to take all the cracks and level them smooth. Actually, let me show you. So here we are. So as you can see, the dash is all cracked up. So what we have to do is we have to get this flat. So I told him, I was like, you know, I want to try something on this. I mean, I'm not going to mess it up. And we have, it goes inside like that, right there. All this in here, all inside, is still soft and pliable. It's just right where the sun came through, right? Where all dashes crack. So I'm going to, I want to try something on this. Again, I'm not going to make it any worse than what it is, but either way, we have to grind all that down so that whole dash pad thingy can go over it. And if whatever I do looks uber horrible, at least I'll have that all down so the pad can go over it. That's kind of my thought on that one. So okay, so now that we're showed you all that, so what I did was, you saw in the little clip there, I just took a little wire wheel and I cleaned up all the corners on this one. I cleaned the corners down here, here, there, and there. And now I have to feather all this out because there's a lot of material there. So before I even prime it there and through there, so before I even prime it, I have to feather all that out. Because if not, it'll be hella lumpy, right? You'll totally see that. That's like a, yeah, anyway. So there, and then this is where the hood pin was. There was a dent right here when I was blocking it out, to block that out right there to get that somewhat feathered. A dent popped up right here. Just, it was ever so slight, but as you can see, little Bodywork 101. Obviously, we're high, high, and high here, and this whole section is low. So I don't know if when they welded up the pins that came through, if they warped it a little bit, because it's all through here is pretty good, but right through there you can feel it's low. So that's all the fiberall glass work I'm going to do here, and then I'm just going to that. This side isn't so bad, but I mean you can see it. It's high, high, and then it's low still through here, and high and high. But it's only low. It's only low. I want to say maybe a 1/16 of an inch. It's just ever so slight. I could probably keep blocking this out and then get this completely flat, but we're still this would still be low in comparison to this. And then in the front here, same situation. Yeah, so I still have to put a little bit more fiberall in this area because it's low, get the line back, and then this whole front. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'd love to try to get this in primer today. We will see. It is noon. We have a couple errands. Boys got to go to work. I got to go pick up my other son. He's been in Gainesville for a week and a half. Not to Gainesville, but I have to pick him up from the bus stop or whatever. So we'll see what we can get done. Oh, the other thing that I ended up doing was my lights are in for this whole shop area. Let me spin you around over here. So my lights came in for the loft area. So as you can see, I do have a board. I had to put a board up in there because I have to run electrical up, and I have to run electrical up and over, put a box, and then come down with a switch. So I needed to put the board up there so I can walk. So I did splurge, I guess you could say. This is true subflooring OSB, so this is 3/4 inch tongue and groove. The difference in price from that and 7/16 or ½ inch, it doesn't matter, was only like a couple, $2-3 difference, and I'm getting 3/4 inch. And seeing how that I went 24 inch on center, I just figured I'd splurge. I don't need a bunch of them. I need 12, so it'll be about $300 for all my flooring. Wifey already was out here and she gave it a whirl. Yeah, I don't want to say she's super excited like I am about having a loft in my garage,
but she still shares in the excitement that I have, we'll say. She's like, it's your space. That's awesome. And I think that's awesome too. So we'll set you up a little bit. This is basically like everything else that I'm doing here. It's bodywork, Bondo, sanding, blocking, stuff like that. So, I mean, I'll record a little bit of it, I'll time-lapse a little bit of it, and yeah, we'll go through there. But I mean, at this point, you kind of understand how I do things. And I'm still going to record it and still put it up there because some people might get something out of this, or maybe this is the first video they're watching because of their Google, YouTube search or whatever, and they'll have some basic knowledge of body shop work and priming, because I primed the doors yesterday, right? Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to mix up a little something and put it in here, and then we'll go from there.
Alright guys, sorry I got the fan right here blowing all the filler dust everywhere. All the filler work is done, so now I got to go over the whole hood with 180 with hard pad, soft pad, and then I'll be going over all that with 320. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to prime it today. It is already what, like 3:30 or something, so but I have to go pick up my kid from work, and then I got to go down in Tampa and pick up my other son. So anyway, so we'll see how far we get. If not, prime it today, prime it probably next weekend, but I'll cover it up so it doesn't get covered with pollen and stuff. But either way, even if I don't get it to next weekend, all I got to do is just run it over it with 320 on another soft pad just to knock off whatever anything lands on it throughout the week, and then prime it up, because there is a lot of a lot of stuff to sand. Like the whole edges are like flaking off from a previous paint job that was obviously painted over something that wasn't sanded correctly, we'll just say. So let me get after it. Okay guys, that's gonna wrap it up. I won't have enough time to prime that today, and I don't want to rush it. It's already 4:30. I got to pick up my one son at 5, and then I got to go pick up my other son at 6. So yeah, but let me spin you around and show you what we got going on here, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so I got all the body work done. There, that piece fits perfect. This side I had a little bit of a lump right here, so that's why I went that far out. And then up here, it's all cleaned out. All of my edges are all done, there and there, all through here. Here I had to fill it right there a little bit, and then I had to fill it right here. But yeah, this all feathered out pretty nicely. Right there. So there it is. So there it all is. All I have to do is just go over it with a soft pad and 320. Over all that to bring up the scratches probably to about, I don't know, 220-ish or whatever. And then do my epoxy primer, and then do my regular primer like I did on everything else. Easy peasy. So again, that's going to wrap it up for this weekend. Thanks for tuning in and seeing what I got going on. Hopefully next weekend we'll get this in primer, and then we have, actually I know we'll get this in primer as long as it's not raining and like 50 degrees. But he did drop off the passenger side roll cage bar opener thingy, so we're probably gonna weld that in, get that all taken care of, and then we'll go from there. I mean, now it's starting to get to the little things, you know, like a big old block party here. Start blocking it all out, see what we got going on. There's that dash piece I want to fix. Yeah, never ending story, right? Until it's done, and then it's awesome. Well, again, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone that likes, shares, and comments, especially that subscribe button. If you already haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon down there. It'll tell you whenever I upload anything really cool, like hopefully you guys find cool. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. And hey, remember, go out there and build something cool. Catch you next time. Bye. Quality control check. How's it feel?
It feels very smooth. That's pretty cool.
Thanks, baby. Thumbs up.
3D.